Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Spike back again once again. And today, people, today we're here for Kamen GAVV episode 23, Broken Sweets. And in this episode, there was a lot of talking in this episode. There's a lot of, realizing things, well, bringing more things like kind of to light, a lot more reassurance type things. This episode was also kind of like a build up, kind of episode, because this episode really didn't have any action like that in it. It felt like it felt like sort of maybe like a reset. Well, not really a reset, but sitting everyone down and having these talks and getting all these things out first, and hearing out what happened in the past and hearing what happened, how this happened and how was this created, who created this, who did this. It's a lot of foreshadowing and a lot of things being done. And then we'll get to the action, and so the action will make more sense. But yeah, we do find out in this episode. We get back to what Shoma was telling Hanto in the last episode, saying how he met his mom, and we go way back. We go back to Kid Shoma. Kid Shoma is he's walking around, because he lived with the Granuts, and the Granuts are basically his siblings. So he's walking around and he kind of gets lost, and he ends up in the facility. He ends up in the factory part of his home that he's never seen before. He never, I guess he barely left. He barely left that room that him and his mom were in. So him walking around, he sees all this and he's like, what the heck is going on? And then he ends up running into this woman who she thinks he's human, and it turns out this woman is Hanto's mom. And his mom is basically trying to find her way out there, and she thinks that Shoma has also been a child that's been kidnapped. And he's like, what are you talking about? I live here. I live here. And she's like, hey, where's your mom? He's like, my mom's not here. So she ends up they end up going down the hallway, and they see Shoma seeing all this stuff, and he's like, where am I? And he's like, where was it? When was all this here? So they ended up seeing this we end up seeing the old way of how they used to capture humans. The old way of how they used to capture humans, and how they used to, make humans into, dark treats and things like that. And it did look more complicated. It looked more complicated or whatever. It's basically they capture people, and I guess they put them in these beds, and they kind of make them feel happy, I guess. And then they end up throwing them into a vat of this green liquid, and it dissolves them, I guess, because how the dark treats are kind of greenish black. I guess it dissolves. It was horrible because the way they I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but she asks him are any you see a bunch of people in this room, and they're all laying down and they're connected to these machines, and they have their neck covered and things like that. And she asks him is any of these people your mom? He's like, is that no, none of these people are my mom. And then she's she's still trying to help him because she thinks he's a little human kid that also was kidnapped. And then that's when Big Brother Longo walks in, but he walks in his Granute form, and he's like, Shoma, what are you doing? He's like, Shoma, what are you doing? And he was like, and then Shoma ends up calling him brother, and then she looks down at Shoma like, brother, and then she screams at Shoma. She kind of gets away from him because we're one of those monsters too. And he makes himself turn back. He turns into his human looking form, and he's like, hey, Dad was looking for you. Why are you down here? And he's like, sorry, I didn't mean to come down here. I got lost. I didn't know none of this was here. It's my bad. So he didn't know how they were making the dark treats and stuff. So he ended up showing Shoma how they did it back then. And the agents, they grab her, and then they throw her into this big greenish water vat of whatever, and she's screaming Hanto's name, and then I guess she ends up getting dissolved and stuff like that. And then Hanto, he hears this story, and Shoma apologizes. He's like, I'm sorry. Shoma's like, I'm sorry, I forgot something that important. I'm sorry I kept so much from you, man. I'm really sorry. And Hanto's like, I thought I was ready to hear that. How someone gives you information that you think that you're ready to hear, you think you're mentally ready to hear what happened, but the story is just it's so graphic, and you hear how it happened that it hurts you. It hurts that's basically what happened to Hanto. Like Hanto was like, but he's mature about it. I'm so glad that they do this with these characters, that these characters are mature and they're down to earth and they have mature conversations and stuff. It's so refreshing and so reassuring. But we see that Hanto's like, yeah, I thought I was ready to hear it, but I thought I was ready to hear this, but I guess I wasn't, because this messed me up. I'm feeling all kind of emotions right now. And he tells Shoma that, like, listen, man, it's okay. None of this is your fault. I knew it. I know that you were way too young. None of this is your fault. But there was a part of me that always thought that she was still alive, but she has to be long gone by then. And he's like, I'm sorry, bro, but I can't see your face right now. I can't see your face right now. He leaves, right? He walks away. And Shoma's like, I'm sorry, man, but he's like, I can't blame him. Shoma's like, I can't blame him. I can't blame him for how he feels. And it's just so cool. I just love that every some characters is so down to earth like that. And so Shoma decides to go tell Sachika everything, and then I guess we did like a little time lapse, because we see her looking at the Gochiso, calling him cute and stuff, and then she asks him, like, she's like, so what do I do now? Like, what happens now? And he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep protecting people, you know, like while I'm not working with you, you know, I'm still gonna keep protecting this place and stuff. And she's like, what do I do? Like, he's like, what do you mean, what you do? He's like, I may not be able to like fight him or stuff, but maybe I could be like, you know, the guy in the chair, like his stuff. Basically what she was proposing. And he was like, nah, it's too dangerous. I don't, like, you know, just stay here and keep being you and keep being your happy self and just keep being my friend and all that good stuff. And you know, Sachika, she's cool with it, but she's like, she tries to see how Shoma's Gochis are made, but Shoma's still kind of having like some mental like sort of issues, because when he eats a snack, it doesn't create a new Gochiso. So he's still kind of like mentally like not there. Like he's still kind of stressed out, and his stuff in his body is not working right. So, but he does end up leaving later on that day. He ends up meeting up with Laga 9 or Lakia. He ends up meeting up with Laga 9, and you know, he tells him everything that he tells him about Sachika. He tells him like. Then they also talked about the whole like Bitter GAVV stuff, where he was because he doesn't know Bitter GAVV is a clone. Right now he doesn't know Bitter GAVV is a clone. He does find that out in this episode, but he does tell Laga 9 that, yeah, like maybe Bitter GAVV was like a sibling that I didn't know about. You know, like maybe he was a sibling I didn't know about. Maybe he was somebody, I don't know. But other than that, I guess and Laga 9 is like, yeah, he was pretty strong. He was kind of stronger than you. But then they end up getting a call from oh, that's my phone. He ended up getting a call from Sachika, and Sachika basically says, hey, that the other version that the doppelganger of you is out causing trouble again. So they end up going to this location. We see that Bitter GAVV is just being weird, but he's acting kind of different. But he's being weird. He flips over a dude's car, starts spinning his car, and he's like, hey, let's play together. And he's just acting like this big kid. He's not beating people up like like he was before, but he's like doing weird, just being a big fat kid, being a weird kid. And we do see that Hanzo's off. He's chilling. He's eating with like, I guess, an old friend or something like that. And then, you know, they're talking about stuff, and they end up bringing up his old mentor, and the dude comes up. The waiter dude comes up and talks to waiter dude comes and gives him the bill and whatever, and he's like, and his friend, Hanzo's friend, ends up saying, I think that was Akakita, something like that. But he basically said that, hey, are you still chasing monsters? And then the waiter dude, he's a big dude too. The waiter dude looks at him like, what are you talking about? Hunting monsters. So yeah, they end up having an okay night or whatever. They end up leaving, but the big dude comes up to Hanzo's friend and is like, hey, I need some information about your friend. I'll even pay you. And he holds up like just cash, just cash, right? And yeah, so and then I guess this dude ends up telling this guy about stuff about Hanzo, and Hanzo ends up leaving. He ends up going to see Suga, and Suga ends up giving him some new Gojizo, but yeah, they basically, and they also talk about Bitter Gav, saying that, oh, y'all beat him already. He's like, what do you mean already? He's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I feel like it would have took a little longer. Because we all know that freaking Suga was the one that made Bitter Gav. But so he ends up giving Hanto these chocolate Gochizos, and he tells him that, hey, they're a little bit more bitter than your regular ones. And I'm just like, is that how we get the sort of powered up bitter Valen? Is this how we get bitter Valen? But he's not a clone this time. He's like he's like a form. I don't know. We'll see next episode. But also, turns out we get back to Shoma and Laga 9, and they're confronting, Bitter Gav, and Shoma brings up that, hey, me and Hanto beat you. What you doing back? And he says, oh, I ain't never met y'all before. Y'all must have beat another one of us. And he's like, what you mean another one of you? He's like, oh, there's a bunch of us. There's like a bunch. There's a bunch of us in mass. And then you find out that Suga has made multiple clones of Shoma. There's like slick a Bitter Gav army out there. Like he says, hey, every time you beat one of us, there might be another one of us that might end up popping out. So now we got to find out who made him. So now they're fighting him, trying to figure out who made him, and he's kind of kicking their butt because he also feels like stronger than the previous Bitter Gav. So Shoma, he ends up saving this woman and her mother, and he tries to end up saving them, but he couldn't because like the woman's leg was broken, and he couldn't fight Bitter Gav like that. He try to protect these people. So we see that Bitter Gav, he's like, he's laughing and all kind of stuff, saying like basically all of this is a big game to him, basically. And he's like, oh yay, whatever. And he ends up having his own 4-wheeler. He has his own freaking 4-wheeler bike, just like Gav does, and he ends up jumping on it and speeds off. And then he tells Laga 9, like, hey, take care of these people. Like he basically take care of these people, and Valen's like, hey man, like finding out the name of this dude, finding out the name of the guy who created him comes first, man. Don't worry about these freaking humans. And Shoma's like, nah, bro, that's not who I am. I'm half human myself, But he speeds off and goes after Gav goes off and speeds off after Bitter Gav, and he tells Valen to take care of these people. Now, I don't know what Valen's gonna do. He better take care of these people. I don't care. He's not working for the stomach no more, but still, I hope he just doesn't abandon them out of nowhere. But kind of trying to teach him like the value of kind of like being a hero, because he's anti-heroes. But yeah, but yeah, we end the episode on a chase sequence with Gav chasing Bitter Gav, and then next episode we are getting the debut of the ice cream form, which I didn't think was going to come this soon. But yeah, we're in the debut of that form, because we kind of do need a power up, because Kate King can barely handle Bitter Gav, I think. I mean, it didn't really do that good against Bitter Gav. Editing this video and I forgot something, but we did see that Laga 9 does end up meeting Uncle Dente after Shoma passes out from his stress and things like that, and we actually see flashbacks of how Stomach actually kind of came to be, how Stomach was actually just a regular candy company before they started doing the whole dark treats thing. We see that Dente's brother was the one that introduced the whole like using humans as like a secret ingredient and stuff, and then that's how dark treats were created. And when dark trees were created, that's when they started hiring like these part-timers to go capture humans and things like that, and that's how they got into that whole like system. And then they actually was like, we could rule society with this, and a lot of them didn't even know what humans even were. like Laganai even said himself, like, I didn't even know what humans even were. And then that's when Dente was like, I didn't want to do that no more. I didn't want to, take advantage of humans and stuff. So that's why I came to Earth and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the part I forgot. So sorry. But yeah, you'll see later on in this video that I kind of really don't talk about it like that. But hey, I did right here. So yeah, I'm being responsible. Enjoy the rest of the video. But yeah, we kind of needed the power up, getting the ice cream power up, getting the ice cream Gojizo. He seems huge too. He looks big. but yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be great. But yeah, man. Yeah, this episode was dope. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm so sorry that it's late. I haven't been home, been working a lot, but y'all don't care about none of that. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Really wondering how was Suga able to make this many freaking clones out of just one hair sample too? Like, dude, like he has them en masse. Like, where are you keeping all of them? And how are you able to make like a fully functional living person thing in like a day, dude? Like, what? Who's funding Suga, number one? And also, is Neelav involved with making like bitter GAVV? What was happening? Like, how is Suga able to do all this stuff so freaking fast? And where's the lab at? Where's the lab? Is it on the ground? Where's the lab at? I need to see this. I need to see a bunch of bitter GAVVs. I need to see a bunch of bitter GAVVs and a bunch of cryogenic chamber tubes. I need to see that, But other than that, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode of Kamen Rider GAVV. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and remember, as I always say, stay hit shit.